The galaxy had long been a complex web of ancient rivalries and constant warfare. Empires rose and fell, fighting for dominance and resources, while the common citizens struggled to survive amidst the turmoil. It was in this tumultuous era that the unexpected happened, the arrival of the humans. They came in world ships, massive technological marvels that defied the known laws of physics. These behemoths, the size of small planets, roared onto the galactic stage at blistering speeds, bristling with unfamiliar weapons and impenetrable shields. Their very presence sent shockwaves through the established order, as every civilization scrambled to understand the implications of this new, powerful player. The first to encounter the humans were the Porori, an aggressive, isolationist empire scarred by centuries of conflict. Rather than considering a peaceful greeting, they immediately attacked, certain of their ability to vanquish this new threat. But their confidence was shattered as the human vessels effortlessly brushed aside the Porori fleet, vaporizing thousands of ships in the blink of an eye. The Porori's might had been reduced to nothing, and they were left to ponder the true nature of these extraordinary newcomers. The humans, for their part, sent out a message pleading for peace. They claimed to come in the name of the greater good, promising salvation, security, progress, and plenty to all who would submit peacefully. But with the galaxy already brimming with distrust and animosity, their pleas fell on deaf ears. Every empire viewed the humans with suspicion, unwilling to trust these powerful strangers, no matter their claims. As the news of the Porori's defeat spread, the humans found themselves greeted with hostility at every turn. The galactic community, scarred by millennia of warfare, could not fathom surrendering to these new arrivals, no matter how advanced they seemed. And so, the stage was set for a confrontation that would forever change the course of the galaxy. The destruction of the Porori Empire had sent shockwaves through the galaxy, leaving every major power on edge. They watched with bated breath as the human world ships, seemingly impervious to all weapons, descended upon the stars like a plague. The humans continued to plead for peaceful submission, promising a future of unity, progress, and prosperity. But the galactic community, hardened by centuries of conflict, could not bring itself to trust these powerful strangers. Each empire stubbornly clung to its own sovereignty, unwilling to surrender to the humans' demands. Yet, as the world ships loomed over their homeworlds, like loaded guns pointed at their hearts, the leaders knew they had no choice but to concede. One by one, the ancient empires fell, their pride and honor cast aside in the face of the humans' overwhelming technological superiority. A galaxy-wide network was established, allowing for the instantaneous transfer of information across impossible distances. A standard currency was introduced, and species were forced to coexist and cooperate in ways they had never done before. The humans painted themselves as benevolent saviors, bringing salvation to a galaxy ravaged by war and strife. They spoke of shared destiny, unity, and the common good, their words laced with the promise of a brighter future. But beneath the velvet glove, the iron fist was ever present, ready to crush any dissent or resistance. The wondrous technology the humans introduced was not used to liberate the masses, but to strip mine planets of their resources, furthering the material gain of the human overlords. Productivity ruled above all else, and the beings of the galaxy were reduced to insignificant cogs in a vast, unforgiving machine. There was no choice, no freedom, only servitude, as the humans tightened their grip on the once proud civilizations. As the human dominion over the galaxy solidified, the true nature of their rule became increasingly clear. Beneath the veneer of progress and prosperity, a harsh reality emerged. The galaxy had been transformed into an advanced, convoluted chain of production, with every non-human being reduced to a tiny, replaceable cog. The humans spoke endlessly of the greater good, of a shared destiny that would bring salvation, security, and plenty to all. But their words, once filled with promises of unity and cooperation, soon rang hollow in the ears of the downtrodden masses. For every hour spent toiling in the dark mines or laboring on the production lines, the once proud civilizations of the galaxy realized that they had traded their freedom for the illusion of progress. The humans were masters of manipulation, wielding a velvet glove to conceal the iron fist that lay within. They were quick to offer smiles and kind words, but equally swift to dispense brutal punishment to any who dared to defy their will. When the Alii, a warrior race renowned for their honor and pride, rose up against their new overlords, the humans responded with unforgiving savagery. A single bomb, containing a devastating virus, was dropped on the Alii homeworld, decimating their population in a matter of days. The workers were quickly replaced by other species, and production resumed with barely a blip. In the announcement that followed, the humans spoke at great length about the greater good of the galaxy and the shared responsibility to the future, a transparent attempt to lend plausibility to their heinous crimes. The will of the galaxy had been broken, and none dared to rebel after the fate of the Alii. The downtrodden masses lived and died in servitude, their lives reduced to a series of meaningless tasks in service of the human overlords. The once proud civilizations had been reduced to mere cogs in a vast, unforgiving machine, their individuality and autonomy stripped away by the relentless march of progress. Decades passed, and the galaxy remained under the iron-fisted rule of the humans. Productivity and resource extraction were the primary concerns, as the world ships continued to strip-mine the planets and extract every last ounce of value from the subjugated populations. The once vibrant cultures and societies had been reduced to a dull monotony, their inhabitants toiling endlessly for the greater glory of their human masters. But then, a sudden announcement shattered the illusion of stability. The humans, with a sense of urgency never before seen, declared that a new, terrifying extragalactic threat had been detected. Millions upon millions of ships, some many hundreds of times the size of the human world ships, were barreling through space towards the galaxy. These vessels, referred to as the Pursuers, were described as a race of ravenous, mindless monsters, twisted and malformed, oozing ichor and adorned with spikes. They appeared to be shaped from living flesh. The humans revealed that their true purpose all along had been to prepare the galaxy to face this impending invasion. The greater good they had so ardently preached was not merely a hollow promise, but a desperate attempt to unify the disparate civilizations under their rule, to fortify the galaxy against the looming pursuer onslaught. In the face of this new, apocalyptic threat, the galaxy was forced to confront a stark reality. The humans, for all their brutality and oppression, had been fighting a war across the vastness of space, a war that had spanned millennia. The salvation, security, progress, and plenty they had promised was not merely an empty slogan, but a necessity in the face of an even greater evil, one that now threatened to consume the entire galactic community. As the pursuers drew ever closer, the stage was set for a final, desperate clash that would determine the fate of the galaxy. The humans mobilized the entire resources and populations under their control, forging desperate alliances and bracing for an apocalyptic confrontation. The once proud civilizations, their spirits broken, but their will to survive undiminished, now found themselves united in a fight for their very existence. The arrival of the pursuers was heralded by a cacophony of alarms and frantic activity across the galaxy. The human world ships, which had once loomed over the homeworlds of the subjugated civilizations like ominous threats, now stood as the last line of defense against the ravenous horde that threatened to consume them all. Fleets of ships, cobbled together from the resources and technology of 1,000 worlds, gathered under the command of the human overlords. Reluctant alliances were forged as the once proud empires set aside their ancient rivalries in the face of this common enemy. The very fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and all knew that failure was not an option. As the pursuers breached the outer defenses, the battle was joined in a maelstrom of energy beams, missiles, and the clash of hulls. The sheer scale of the conflict was beyond anything the galaxy had ever witnessed, with the roar of countless engines and the thunderous explosions echoing across the void of space. The humans, their technological superiority on full display, led the charge, their world ships unleashing devastating salvos that carved swaths through the pursuer armada. But for every ship they destroyed, it seemed two more took its place, the living vessels of the pursuers surging forward with an insatiable hunger. The defenders fought with a desperation born of the knowledge that surrender was not an option. They had seen the fate that awaited them under the pursuers' merciless assault, and they were determined to prevail or perish in the attempt. The clash of civilizations, forged in the crucible of this apocalyptic battle, became a testament to the indomitable spirit of the galaxy's inhabitants. As the battle raged on, the very fabric of the stars seemed to tremble, the outcome hanging in the balance. The fate of the galaxy, and perhaps the future of all sentient life, rested upon the outcome of this final, cataclysmic confrontation. The battle for the galaxy raged on, a cataclysmic clash of titans that threatened to tear the very fabric of the stars asunder. The human world ships, their technological prowess on full display, led the charge against the relentless onslaught of the pursuers. But for every ship they destroyed, it seemed two more would take its place, the living vessels of the monstrous extragalactic invaders surging forward with an unquenchable hunger. Across the galaxy, the once proud civilizations fought with a desperate fury, their spirit forged in the crucible of oppression and now tempered by the knowledge that surrender was not an option. They had seen the fate that awaited them under the pursuers' merciless assault, and they were determined to prevail or perish in the attempt. The clash of worlds was a symphony of energy beams, missiles, and the thunderous explosions that echoed through the void of space. Alliances, forged in the face of this common enemy, stood firm against the tide, their ships and weapons combining in a desperate attempt to stem the pursuer advance. And at the center of it all were the human world ships, their captains and crews fighting with a ferocity that belied their earlier reputation for ruthless subjugation. For in this final, apocalyptic confrontation, the humans had found themselves united with the very civilizations they had once sought to dominate, their shared fate binding them together in an unbreakable bond. As the battle raged on, the very fabric of the galaxy seemed to tremble, the outcome hanging in the balance. The fate of all sentient life rested upon the outcome of this cataclysmic struggle, a conflict that would determine whether the galaxy would be consumed by the pursuers' insatiable hunger, or whether a new dawn would rise from the ashes of this apocalyptic clash. In the end, it was the indomitable spirit of the galaxy's inhabitants, forged in the crucible of adversity and tempered by the fires of war, that tipped the scales. With a final, desperate push, the combined might of the human world ships and the allied fleets overwhelmed the pursuers, their living vessels crumbling under the weight of the onslaught. As the smoke cleared and the last of the pursuers were driven back, a stunned silence fell over the galaxy. The once proud civilizations, their ranks thinned, but their resolve unbroken, looked upon the human world ships with a newfound respect and gratitude. For in this moment of ultimate peril, the humans had proven themselves not merely overlords, but allies in the truest sense. Their technological might and strategic brilliance had been the bulwark that had saved the galaxy from annihilation. And so, from the ashes of this apocalyptic conflict, a new era was born. The galaxy, forever changed by the sacrifices and the triumphs of this final stand, now looked towards a future filled with the promise of cooperation, rebuilding, and a shared destiny that transcended the boundaries of old rivalries and hatreds. The human dominion, once feared and resented, had given way to a partnership forged in the crucible of adversity, a testament to the power of unity in the face of overwhelming odds. The galaxy, once a patchwork of warring factions, now stood united, ready to face the challenges of the future with a renewed sense of purpose and a determination to never again be caught unprepared. And at the heart of this new dawn, the human world ship stood as beacons of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the indomitable spirit of humanity could rise to the occasion and forge a path to victory.